Solutions. Chris, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Let's perhaps go back to where exactly were you when you heard the news, and how did you react?
Well, last night we were actually busy launching the third Mandela colloquium that was with the Kwezi Institute, and we had Ahmed Kathrada and George Bezos there, who was just reminiscing about Madiba, and it was just such a shock just an hour or so later that you get the news that he's died. But the importance of what Advocate Bezos was saying was the importance of that constitution, how it was designed. He said Nelson Mandela came into the room and said, "You're drawing up a constitution, draw up something that suits South Africa, not just the ANC." Okay, and we can see that now in terms of, and that's basically what, you know, what I would, in a sense, put a business hat on and say, right, what legacy is important, and the first thing is that there's no market reaction. It's almost like you feel there should be a market reaction, but the point is there isn't a market reaction, and that tells us one of the legacies is that he's left us a stable country, a country that's at peace. Not only that, the institutions that, remember we went from a country that was in a very fluid state. The first election you had, not everybody wanted to even participate in that first election. And literally within a year, the constitution's in place. And it's almost as if we had a fast-track maturity, because the institutions that we've had, the courts, the electoral IEC, the public protector, all of these institutions are in place now, and people are operating within the system, extreme left, extreme right, doesn't matter what you think, they're participating in elections, they're using the courts and that type of thing, and that's extraordinary. Because we've not only got these strong institutions, we've got a lot of confidence in those institutions, and we can see that now as we've got certain questions over leadership at the moment, and the institutions are coming through. And that's basically why we've got something that actually is enduring. And that's why the markets aren't reacting, is because the actual system is strong and stable enough to actually see us through a crisis. And that's, I think, basically where I would suggest we need to also look as far as the legacy, a lot less emotional, but effectively something strong, something tangible, and something very, very real that takes us as a country through, into the future.
I find it so poignant that you say that Madiba has left us with a stable country, just purely looking at today's market reaction, or maybe the slight reaction that we've seen there.
Yeah. I'll give you another example. I was with a colleague. I go into an institution that's described as a national, I would imagine as a national key point, because you can't think. And the comment of him, but the security was such, like we go to them through the metal detectors, it goes beep, and the security guards just say hi and that sort of thing. So I asked them, what does that tell you about the country? And most people say, oh, because we like to focus on our potholes and that. I said, it tells us we're a country at peace. Because you can't go through security in New York or London or whatever, countries that are actually in conflict, etc., and experience such relatively easy security, but still reasonably. We haven't had hijacks, we haven't had that rubbish here. All right, but we're a country at peace. And that's also an important thing. And we didn't, it certainly wasn't, the naysayers certainly wouldn't have said that that's our prognosis going forward. And that's basically how we've been carried through.
Of course, Chris, perhaps also one of the key thematic things that's come out this morning and as the day has unfolded is how South Africans seem to have adopted a very united front in terms of how they choose to understand the legacy and how they choose to carry on that legacy. How important is this test that I would say we've passed as a country?
I think it is important. We'll spoil it. That's the nature of South Africa. We'll spoil that unity, as we did with the World Cup when in '90, we spoil it the day after and that type of thing. But that also is a reflection of our diversity. But we do recognise that that's the cohesion. Just to pick up on the previous point I made, countries that are at war don't complain about their potholes. We complain about our potholes and our robots that are out and that sort of thing because there's nothing else to complain about.
Chris, thank you so much for those insights, and I think that's definitely a statement that's going to stick in my mind. Countries that are at war do not complain about potholes. That was Chris Hart, Chief Strategist at Investment Solutions.